What's up, guys? This is Kephas. I mean, playing games, we're all bound to get tilted sooner or later. Usually I get tilted because I'm frustrated with the game because of my lack of skill or because of something like that. And of course, one of the things that sucks about everybody when it comes to video games that we all can be guilty of is whenever we're failing at the game or we're losing, we blame the game and not ourselves for not being better, right? And so especially, Overwatch especially is really bad about this. And even WoW, there are a lot of people that play WoW that just believe that I'm here for the ride and I should just win. And there should be no challenge, and there should be no effort, and there should be no struggle, and I should just win because life is hard and I'm here to have fun. And, I'm one of those people that just like with the thin skin, I'm one of those people that I disagree with that mentality vehemently. I think that everybody can define what they want from a game, and they can find games that give them exactly what they want. It's when people try to define that for everyone else that the problem comes in. When a game exists, if it's a competitive game, there's going to be a culture around that competition that most people are going to fall in line with, and provided, I think, there always should be standards to how you treat people, in the context of the game and out of the game. But I also think that a degree of just let things go, especially one of the things that I've gotten a lot better with, especially when I play Overwatch and probably WoW as well. I don't fester with people and let what they do fester, and I'm even talking about things that probably are definitely not okay, offensive things and the like, but I think a lot of times the best thing to do is to just, I hate to say get over it, but it's honestly just don't let it bother you. Just consider the source and and move on. And that's coming from somebody that I make videos on YouTube about being visually impaired and playing video games, playing WoW, making macros. Do you know the crap people have said to me? It happens a lot. People are like, well, I hope you never play with me. I get that. And I'm like, I hope I don't either. Because, I wouldn't want to play with a jerk like you. But at the same time, I'm not like, I remember those situations. I used to be a lot more bothered by them, but then I've kind of, and I don't want to get all pseudo political, whatever. I don't want to get into that, but I see the way things are going these days with people getting easily offended with everything. People refer to it as cancel culture, outrage culture. I don't want to get into that too much, but I see where that goes, and I don't like where it goes. And having dealt with that, I think, and the thing, I feel like everybody to a different degree, I bumped my microphone, deals with that just in some form. I'm visually impaired, but I know people that aren't visually impaired that have other ailments that, or no ailments at all, have nothing about them that stands out, that deal with people saying stuff. Just not being very good at a game. People will say stuff to you. It's of course, you remember the time when, back in the day, which still is a thing, which is fine. It's whatever to a degree. Being a noob, being new at the game, having not been playing it for very long, was enough to get people to say crap to you. They would literally call you a noob, as an insult, right? Oh, I'm sorry, I haven't been playing the game as long as you. I just started yesterday. You're a noob. You know what I mean? It's stupid. It's so stupid, in fact, that I think it's stupid to get upset about. And that's kind of my thing with it. Like I said, I think there's a difference between, full-on, targeted bullying and whatever, and really going after people and, really trolling people to the point that it's a problem, versus somebody saying a thing, and that's it, and then it's over, and then move on. You know what I mean? And I know there are going to be people that disagree with that, and that's fine. Everybody has the right to feel the way they do, and I have the right to feel the way I do, having had plenty of experience with that sort of thing. And also just dishing it back out, which and honestly, that's the thing though, is that you know, like when I had my raid team, because like in my experience, whenever, you know, being visually impaired, you know, you have a lot of reactions, and the one reaction that I want the most is that people just, you know, obviously I want people to treat me like everybody else, and the way I've found to do that is to not to pretend like it's not there, like not to pretend like I don't have a vision problem, because obviously I make a YouTube channel about it. I mean, I talk about it. It's part of who I am. It's not my identity though. It's part of it, just a small part of it, but it's a big enough part of it that separates me from everybody else in a way, and distinguishes me, and I use that to kind of distinguish myself and share my experience, not because I want people's sympathy or anything, but because I think it might be interesting, and because it's a way for me to say, hey, this is what I do, this is why I do what I do, this is why I like games, and this is how I play them. But I still, even with all that, I still, you know, I don't need people to tell me, oh, so glad that, you know, you do this, even in spite of your challenge. You know, it's like, that's not why I do it. I do it just so that people can see, you know, something different. There's an item up here, so let's go grab it. And I guess the point of it is, so when I first, you know, met my friends online and we were playing a lot of WoW, you know, raiding and stuff, I would make jokes, you know, and again, this is something that people may not like, but I would make, you know, funny jokes about, you know, being blind, and just, oh, you know, well, you sure you want the blind guy to drive the tank? You know, like stuff like that. And people, you know, a lot of people, some people would like look at me like, or not look at me, but like reacting like, oh, is that okay to laugh at? You know, it's like, dude, it's okay to laugh about that. It's fine. It's funny, right? I think it's hilarious. And, you know, people feel more like afterwards, and people see how you are, and they see that you're very lighthearted about it, that you're not uptight, that everything's okay, and they can laugh and they can make jokes, and it's fine. And then people are more comfortable, and it's like, look, it's not a big deal, you know. It's just like, I'm not like, yeah, it's obviously a big struggle in life to be visually impaired, sure, but at the same time, it's still my life, and hey, I get along fine. And part of how I get along fine is by not letting it define me, and not giving it so much weight that other people around me are uncomfortable, right? So, but that's another example in my mind of just like, you know, so whenever people say things like, you know, oh, you know, like, I hope I never play with you, or God, you're so bad. Like, you know, wait till I make Overwatch videos. I guarantee you there are going to be people that will be like, you have no business playing this game. I hope you're never going to be on my team. I'm like, I hope I'm never on your team either, but you're never going to stop me from being able to play the game, or playing the game at all. You know what I mean? And then my friends are going to laugh at me, and it's like, oh God, you sure you want to play Widowmaker? You know what I mean? Like, same with WoW. Like, you know, did you pull another mob? Did you not see it coming? Come on, man. You know, like stuff like that. It's fine. It's funny. It's part of the type of friendships that I have, and people that know me the best know me that way. And you know, my wife and I, my friends, we make jokes about it all the time. My family, like, it's just part of, you know, it's just part of you know, it's just part of being how I do things. And it's funny because I made an episode, Legally Blind, a long time ago about people making jokes. And it's actually like, it was two things at the time. One, I was a little bit more, I guess, like, because I've gone through phases, and at the time I guess I was thinking a different way, in a way, like, you know, people shouldn't make jokes, and that was coming from a different source, I guess, a different mentality. But it was also like, it wasn't so much like that I get mad that people make jokes. It was that people make the same jokes and then think that they're being unique. Like, so I was giving people a little bit of crap about that, I guess, is really what it was. Which, you know, to be fair, how are people to know that I've never heard those jokes before? To them, it's like the first time they've ever said it. I'm like, I've heard your jokes, man. Like, you know, it's fine. But now it's like, you know, people are comfortable enough to joke with me, and you know, and not in a disrespectful way. You know, obviously there's you know, people's intentions when they say things, and like why they say things. Like, you know, and obviously like a person that doesn't know me at all probably shouldn't make jokes. But once you get to know me, once we've met and we've talked, and like, you know, we know each other. Obviously that's kind of a big deal as well. Obviously I wouldn't want some stranger off the street who doesn't know me to just start making jokes, because I don't know what their intentions are. I don't know, because like obviously that does matter. I don't know if you're laughing at me or laughing with me, kind of thing. So that does obviously matter when you're doing that kind of thing. But even then, like if you're just trying to laugh at me, like, look, it's like you kind of grow past it. Like you can't, like, whatever, dude, you're ignorant. You know what I mean? Like I know me, and I know people that know me, and I don't like when I was in high school or in school in general, like I went through those types of situations, right? So I know how some people are, and obviously as an adult, like it doesn't really happen. Like it really doesn't. Like I don't deal with, because again, people are mature and it's whatever. But I guess saying all that stuff to say, like when it comes to playing video games and you're dealing with people that you don't know, you've never met, you'll never meet again, you'll probably never see them again, and I know that doesn't, like, some people say, well, it's that it happens from multiple people, and it's so like one person does it and then a couple games later it happens again or whatever. And honestly, like, and this is something that I know from YouTube and also just from this stuff, unfortunately, the negative experiences tend to stick out more than the positive, and I mean 1,000 to 1. Holy crap! I just got a lot of people upset with me in the game. I mean, 1,000 to 1. You'll have 1,000 good experiences. You'll go weeks, months on YouTube, for example, having all these positive experiences and feedback, and then you'll have one day, one person says something mean or nasty, and that will stick in your mind, and that's very frustrating that the mind is like that, but people tend to fixate on that, on the negative, unfortunately. And so it is a question of, how often does it happen? Well, people will say, well, once is far too often. And, I guess that's true. But to me, the way to beat that is to not give it power. And you do that by understanding, I guess, like, people, first off, you oddly enough, you don't dehumanize the person. You know what I mean? Like, they're obviously still a person. They're just being a jerk. Who knows why? And second off, you also just consider, like, consider the source, consider the maturity level. Like, a lot of times, like I said, you're watching in a video game, you're watching, you put it into perspective. Like, this is a 30, 40-year-old man getting very offended and very upset by something that a 12-year-old did, or an 8-year-old, just having fun. Not even what they said, because like I said, sometimes it's something as simple as like teabagging, or something as simple as someone using an emote. I've seen people get upset in Overwatch because D.Va uses the "is this easy mode" emote. You know what I mean? And so there's, like I said, there's a big difference between the types of things that people are doing and a question of when you're being so easily offended or whatever. And that's kind of the idea. I think one of the things that makes it easier for me to do dungeons is I stopped caring. Like, okay, so if I go in a dungeon, and I've said this before on here, like if I go into a dungeon, getting my butt kicked, I'm failing and I suck, and someone gets mad at me and calls me a noob or an idiot or whatever, who cares? Let them. Like, they can say whatever they want. I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, I don't want to mess up. I don't want to screw over. A lot of times, like, for me, it's like I don't want to screw over the other people and make them have to, like, make things worse. But it's like, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, same with Overwatch. I start playing new characters because it's fun and, like, it's whatever. We might do well, might not. If you feel like you're, being a problem, like, like you're bringing the team down, well, then it is what it is. You're learning. It's fine. That's part of video games, is to learn and get better, right? So sometimes you just, I don't know. I don't even know what got me on this, but like sometimes you just have to consider the source. You have to just take a step back. Don't get too upset. Don't let people. It's been like, it used to be more commonly accepted advice. People don't want to listen to it nowadays because they don't feel like it works, because it doesn't like, I think that people want a problem to stop that's never going to stop. I think that's honestly the problem. People, whenever you give the advice, people want that advice to be, and ignore it and it'll go away. It's like, well, no, it may not go away. You know what I mean? Like, you're probably always going to have certain people, to a degree, just be a certain way and shit talk or whatever. it's probably always going to be there. So you have to kind of learn, depending on how bad it is, how serious it is, obviously. But I'm talking about the little things. You know, you have to learn to overcome, like just accept it. You know, like deal with and counter it. You know, learn to step in and fire back. You know what I mean? But in a playful, because like a lot of times, like again, like, and this is why I'm saying this, like a lot of times it's not meant, like even like, you know, simple, you know, shit talking, even like teabagging is not meant to insult you personally. It's more playful. Like, come on, I got you, I owned you. Come on, bring it on. You know what I mean? Like, bring it back to me. That's oftentimes what you're doing, what people are doing, and I know that's my intentions. People might read it differently, but that's, you know. That's where, you know, I think intention matters. I don't think the way it comes across is always, like, it's obviously important, but like, oh, I just got going down. It's I know it's complicated. I'm like delving into like complicated waters, but it's just fun to talk about. And people might not like what I have to say, but please understand that I'm not like, you know, I'm not like endorsing you being bullied to the point of like, you know, being bullied away or whatever, and nothing like that. You know, obviously, I'm not endorsing full-blown toxic behavior. I'm just more talking about playful things in terms of what's acceptable. But then if something is unacceptable, it's also like, I'm not encouraging that, but I'm also like, consider how to best mentally, I guess, deal with that sort of thing. So, you know, I kind of jump back and forth between both situations and how I personally, you do what you want to do. You can do whatever. You can burn the house down if you want to. But, you know, proverbially speaking, of course, if I can get the word out correctly. But the way I tend to deal with a lot of those situations is I just in one ear out the other. If someone taunts me in a game like Overwatch or whatever, I'm like, oh, bring it on, you know, like I'm gonna try. And sometimes, you know, like it always sucks whenever, you know, I'm playing, oh, my pet is dead. Oh, I didn't even realize that happened. Well, that's the first time that's happened. I guess it's because I'm fighting like 1,000 of these things. This is like the closest I've ever come to actually dying, which is kind of funny. But anyway, yeah, that's just like random conversation. You know, just dealing with people online, having fun, learning how to deal with it, learning how to kind of like, I guess, learning how sometimes how to see it. You know, and it's not always bad. It's not always from a place of evil intentions, I guess, or whatever. And when you kind of start seeing it that way, you start seeing where people are coming from. They're just having fun. And, you know, sometimes if you get owned at in a game, like, you know, people are going to be like, oh, I owned you. You know what I mean? Like, don't take it too personally. You know what I mean? Like, it's not meant to be. It's just, people are just having fun. And I think it's important to know when it's something to take personally and maybe, you know, address in some form, depending on how much you can. Yeah, I think that if it's something like, if you're playing a game and, you know, you get it often, like, because I think like what could happen is, say someone's playing a game and they get mistreated more than once, and depending on how often it is, and it's hard to say. I'm not going to question like, what happens. Like, if it happens one time and then it'll happen again like 2 weeks later or even a month later, you'll start to recall the last time it happened. And what's frustrating is, because it sticks in your brain, you'll start feeling like it happens all the time. You know what I mean? But it's like, it probably doesn't happen as often. Maybe it does. I don't know. It depends. Depends on the person. Depends on the people they play with. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't want to deny anything, but I do know that like sometimes the negative tends to stick out more. You know, which I've already said that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's complicated, man. It's. I feel bad for people that like. Even like when I'm like, you know, you probably should not let it bother you too much. I do feel bad whenever people do get hurt, even if it wasn't like intentional. Like I would, like, you know, if I said something and I didn't mean it to hurt somebody, and they said, you know, that hurt, you know, that hurt my feelings or whatever. Like I would obviously like apologize. Like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. I was just being playful, having fun. Obviously, and again, I'm not talking about personal things. I'm talking about like just like basic things, you know, simple little like jabs, like, "Hi, I owned you," that kind of stuff, you know. But at the same time, I think if that happened a lot, like if I was playing with somebody that like always got very easily upset, I probably wouldn't want to play with them anymore. But you're just, like you're just not like you're not fun to play with. You get too wrapped up in hurt by things that aren't really meant to be hurtful, but they hurt you. And like I would just probably would rather not play with that type of person, I guess. And honestly, depending on how easily hurt people get, and this is where my hot take really might come from. I kind of feel like I think I've even talked about this before on this very series on other issues. Depending on the situation, and that's why it's like, this is not universally a blanket sweep statement. None of this is. It really just depends. Sometimes people have every right to be offended and upset by what jerks online say. In a game or not in a game or in real life, it doesn't matter. So sometimes people say things that people have every right to call them out on, and whatever. But sometimes I think the easily offended stuff, the things that aren't things that people should really be getting offended for, I think, and I'm talking like, I don't even know, like just things that are just even something as simple as like, I disagree with your opinion, or I disagree with like someone can say, camping is a crap strategy, right? Or something like that. Or, I think Moira is overpowered, or I don't like playing paladins, right? That's an opinion that you can have. Somebody gets offended by that. I mean, I play a paladin. I've been playing a paladin since the beginning. Blah, blah, blah. You're a jerk, screw this person. Oh my god, you know what I mean? Like, and they get mad because somebody doesn't like paladins. Like, I love paladins, and if someone doesn't like paladins, and they're like, screw paladins suck, okay. Like, I don't think so, but you're allowed to have that opinion, that's fine. But some people, could get really, really upset by people that have an opinion that they don't have or share or disagree with. You know what I mean? And so, like, I think those types of people that get like that easily, upset or whatever, are just as problematic as people that are saying those things, or not those things, but saying, being more like, being more in your face about like being super competitive, or just like, trying to tilt you, I guess. Sometimes I think there's like two sides of that coin, you know what I mean? And I don't really want to be on either one of those sides. I don't want to be the toxic person that makes a game less fun for people. But I also don't want to be the person that, is calling for voice chat to be disabled in a video game because they get offended by what people say. Like, I don't want to be that person. That was kind of a funny, I don't know where that came from. I've just heard that take a couple times recently. I don't even know where it come from.
Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, let me know by clicking that like button. And feel free to share it with your friends so they can enjoy it as well. Don't forget, you can subscribe to the channel and click on the bell icon to be notified as soon as new videos are posted. You can also follow me on Facebook and Twitter, and if you'd like, you can support this channel on Patreon. Links to all of this can be found in the description below. This is Kephas. Until next time.